We got Vancouver and we got Nashville. Woo!
Baby.
Let's go. Nashville Predators with an unbelievable run after they couldn't go see U2. Vancouver Canucks with an unbelievable run from basically day one. These are two very interesting teams. The Coyotes. The Canucks. Young, fun, excited. A lot of them have not played in the playoffs.
That was very Will Smith of you.
Yeah, well, he was at Coachella and I watched the
Somebody just cleaned that floor.
What?
And then so who do you like in this series, guys? And why do you like them?
Vancouver. I like them. Please don't ask me any more questions.
What do you mean?
This, like, in terms of like hockey Twitter and social media, you have Nashville Predators fans who I feel like we could do the U2 bit where Adam goes, they're a bad team and they're not very good and they should have just gone to the damn concert. But then they go on a fabulous winning streak, rather.
Yeah.
And they're in on the joke.
Well, it's because you're needling. Yeah.
Yeah, you're needling, and they're like, I'll needle you back. You tickle them, and they're like, I'll tickle you back. And I just feel like you tickle the Vancouver Canucks and you get stabbed in the neck.
Now, the reason for that, though, is the Canucks have not had a lot of success lately. Nashville can at least say, hey, we've been in the finals. We've had some fun. We've had some good playoff runs. Vancouver, it's been hell for a long time.
I'm so excited for the fan base and for just the hockey world as a whole that we get that back. That we get Vancouver in the playoffs, burn the city down. Let's go. We get all of the crazy fanness coming back. It's exciting times for hockey to have Vancouver be a good team.
They haven't skipped a beat either. Everyone's like, yeah, it's just like that series from 2011. I'm like, 13 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, all right, but no.
It feels like they've just been waiting, since the last time they had a good run. They've just been waiting for another one, and now everything gets unleashed.
No. They are the greatest team in the National Hockey League with hiatuses. That's it. That's it. That's, I think, how they look at it, how they evaluate the team. And also, nothing but existential dread. Like, they are the hardest to read fan base. And I mean, they've had stretches where they were a little soft, but for the most part, they've been one of the most consistently good teams in the NHL.
Yep.
Can I give you some numbers?
Yeah.
And these numbers will show where my leaning is going. But since U2 Gate, which was about February 19th,
Okay.
the Nashville Predators were the second best team in the National Hockey League. They have 41 points in that span. The only team better is the Carolina Hurricanes, who have 42.
I wanted you to say the Canucks so bad.
No.
Okay.
In that span, Vancouver Canucks, though, are 21st in the league at 13, 10, and 3. A lot of that is because Thatcher Demko went down.
Yep.
He was injured and didn't play until the final week of the season, which is really rough. But
they go as he goes. Yep.
This last 2-month stretch, Vancouver got out to a nice, healthy lead, and we thought they'd be in the race for the President's Trophy, and then dialed it back in the last 2 months. They haven't been playing their best hockey.
Oh, boy.
And the Nashville Predators, on the other hand, are playing the best hockey.
Yes. This is where a lot of the mood comes from. And the Preds, by the way, over the last 10 games have not been that great. So it's one of those things where, they have, does February momentum matter in April? Like, when your April momentum hasn't been all that good. I mean, the team who should win based on talent, this is why we're tiptoeing around it. Like, it ought to be Vancouver, 1,000,000%, but it's the playoffs and anything can happen.
You want me to get a little closer momentum? Last 15 games, Preds 9-5-1.
That's pretty good.
Vancouver Canucks 8-6-1.
That's also pretty good.
All right, a little more even,
right?
Heading into the playoffs.
That's why I have a really difficult time, as magical as they are. Maybe I can be the new Adam, where I just keep doubting the Preds, but I just have a really hard time betting against the Canucks.
The last time the Canucks and Predators...
2011,
second round, Vancouver beat Nashville 4-2 on their way to a 7-game series in the finals against the Boston Bruins.
What happened?
The last time they played, the Nashville Predators lost to the Vancouver Canucks.
I feel
15 years ago.
I feel like they're thinking about it like a revenge series, but nobody else is.
Well, maybe the players aren't, but I think the fans should.
No, I mean the fan. Obviously, the players aren't. They
fans
weren't
should.
there.
You know what?
But the fans are.
Worth mentioning, this win or lose, this does suck for both teams.
Mhm.
Kevin Bieksa was talking about this on Sportsnet and talking about that 2011 run.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous that Nashville and Vancouver are in the same conference.
Yeah.
And for those two to have what could be a 7-game series where they're flying from friggin' British Columbia to Tennessee stinks for both of them and limits what they can potentially do in the playoffs outside of the series. It's going to be a really tough one. I think a lot of guys are going to go down getting hurt.
At the end of the season, the Nashville Predators and Vancouver Canucks didn't finish too far off in terms of goals for per game. 279 total goals for scored for the Vancouver Canucks. So NHL.com, they don't give me, unless you go to the stats page, I got to count them off as 1, 2,
annoying.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th in the league. Nashville finished 10th. There you go. Pretty close. 8th and 10th in terms of goals for. If you isolate since February 1st, goals for per game, the Nashville Predators are second.
Wow.
In the whole league.
Wow.
And the Vancouver Canucks sit 25th. And
That's unbelievable.
And I just want you to think of like when you first think about these teams, the opposite of how we think about the Predators is not a high goal scoring team.
No.
But the only team that has scored more goals than them since Feb 1 is the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're the second best right there. And the Predators, for like, the biggest thing we talk about is they don't have the high-end talent. You know, they're missing like the true bona fide star.
I think Philip Forsberg's that guy.
Right?
Gus Nyquist is that guy.
They
All right.
have enough pieces around where they do it as a team and a collective, and they're able to score at will. And the Vancouver Canucks, I think a lot of it's I think a lot of it's having Demko out. I think it's a lot of it. You got out to a huge start at the beginning, and obviously you couldn't really maintain it all through the year because you're young and it's the first time and all that stuff. But I worry about them in the playoffs, and I feel like Nashville might be a little too hot.
A lot of it, you know, sometimes you add to a group and you make a super team. Other times you screw it up a bit.
Are you going down that road?
Yeah.
It's not like Elias Lindholm's been awesome.
No.
And it's not like they've been awesome around him. Like, I'm not blaming him for what happened with the Canucks, but also a lot of what started to go wrong with them happened right around that time. And he wasn't having a great season before that. Hasn't had a great season since that. If they're going to win this series, he's got to be great. He's got to be what they paid for.
How much of a factor is JT Miller and his experience in the playoffs and how he's going to perform for the Canucks?
I mean, isn't he not the factor? Like you would expect for the team, as much as, you know, Quinn Hughes is captain and Pettersson is great and whatever, JT Miller is going to be the emotional and spiritual guide here. He's going to be the guy that's like, I'm all right, everybody get behind the old grizzled guy. And he's not old, but he is grizzled. And I think he's probably starving for some playoff time. This guy's going to be, I think all roads lead through him, at least for the first couple of games of the series.
Forecheck, back check, and if you go to the box, make sure you take someone with you.
Yeah, and like Demko could easily just stand on his head and, you know, the series is over in 5. Like that could be the beginning and end of it. Like he just has a great 5 games and it's done.
My question is like, is that injury something that's going to linger and bug him?
Right.
And when he played in the playoffs last time, I know it was 2020, and I know we kind of go, it is different, and it was, but he was pretty great. So, what is your prediction, guys, on the actual series itself?
I've done so many of these, I don't remember what I said the first time. I'm pretty sure I said Canucks in 6.
Jesse.
I'm siding with the Nashville Predators in 7 games.
And I will be live streaming the Canuck games throughout the first round. And I'll be doing it in the second round, too, because they're winning. And they're going to win in 6. It's going to be a 4-2. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. But I think the Vancouver Canucks, the kids, are taking this one.